Diaspora in Europe is really rather different from the traditional Irish emigrant lands. I mean, for instance, we're not dealing with English-speaking countries for the most part. The board has no English-speaking country in the board. Currently, we would have 13 languages to operate in.
And finally, have you noticed yourself that the native Europeans, what do they think of Gaelic games in the Zealand? A lot of them will be seeing them out for the first time.
Well, I think you get two types of people. If they're sports people, they love the games. This is a game, I mean, I think we take it far too much for granted. It's a game of hand-eye, foot coordination. We've players who convert over from Olympic handball, from basketball, from all sorts of things up in Scandinavia, floorball, sports that we haven't heard of in Ireland. And in a way, when we think about exporting our games, we have to think about, like, if someone was to bring in handball or, one of those lesser-known sports, we're trying to make that penetration. I always say, we're at 0.001% penetration. If we get to 1% in the next 30 years, we'll have done something magnificent.
Perfect out.
Okay.
Perfect. Smellig.
Yes, Smellig, yeah.
Brussels, right?
Yeah, Brussels. I'm Belgic.
Okay.
From the Melga.
Yeah.
Rolling, mate.
So, Olaf, Cechar Sosas Gimmerton Shaw.
Well, who megadi an Belg fa Carib blian o hin. Tá mi gobar Holland sin agus tá fern pelan le 3 blian nu, so tá mi tinsa le sin chomortas mór bhuchans le cúna jay.
Agus an fiú mór an ditse is mar éarnach de chóna Smellig go útúnan na cliffe Gaelach immert go réalta.
Well, tá sé har cín go bhfuil le héadán, bhfuil tá sé intach jazz bheith an cliffe jazz pelle immert héis lá na Hebra agus mar sinja.
Min mór an gunn an België chur ceistart ceir de seo gur mín uair a glyfa?
Ja, tá anna hí meag daoine Eorpaig a bheicins na cliffi agus tá go leor achtarnig cliffe for an hain tá cúpla Francaig, Sasnach, Spáineach, so tá sé annias.
Tá an tálan go nemteach a jazz an John chuilne.
Tá sé go háling, tá sé jazz agus tá sé dénach sa blion leis tá an tálinn.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you. And what I love actually ask you is how you ended up in Limerick. That's what this surgery is.
That's the angle you want to go on.
Yeah. I'm trying to come with different angles from my start with Tony about logistics and that sort of thing. So.
Okay.
Let's get that focus on that.
No problem. Match is on behind us, but that doesn't matter. It's nice to have
it. Nice to have a bit of action, as long as there's not a red card behind you or something.
No, okay, well, there wasn't a red card in the last match, they're never with. Will you tell me, how did the European Championships and the football championships ended to be playing in Limerick?
Well, it was basically an angle came from the Limerick City of Sport, the European City of Sport, and we were approached, and there's a committee here with Shannon Development, with the City Council, the GA. We were approached on it, and we said, it works in two ways for us. It means it's something that we can offer to our non-Irish players to see the GA, to see the facilities, to see, just the marvellous passion that there is for the GA in Ireland. It's something that they see from us, but that sometimes they try to understand the madness they can see it in that. So that was the driver. We have to have it somewhere, because it's the whole continent of Europe. Most people have to fly to go to it anyway, so why not into Ireland? And there's a nice little angle as well in terms of, we like to think, you see all the bad news and so on out abroad. What's the thing that you can do to bring a little bit of kind of, a little bit of tourism here? There's brothers and sisters, there's uncles and aunts that'll hear about this, and please God they'll come over on their holidays next year. And that's small little things like that. And for us, the benefit is very, to be able to show these facilities off gives them a bit of encouragement as well, because the big problem we have is we have people that want to play in cities of millions where there's no knowledge of the Gaelic games. They don't recognise it, they won't let you onto their pitches, they don't know what you are. So it brings that bit of motivation, that we don't have the movement behind us that the start of the GA or the national identity and the culture. So this is the kind of incentive to say this is what we could be like, slowly. And we're 53 clubs now in just 11 years. And please God, we'll still have the same 53 and a few more in the next few years, and this will be part of it.
The second question I have for you is, I know in America it's slightly different because Irish tend to stick very much together. Trying to finance clubs now in continental Europe, is it difficult?
Oh, it's incredibly difficult. I mean, most of the sponsorship starts off at the bar, probably similar to here, if you're lucky.
Perfect. Willie, thanks a million.
Okay, rolling, Mike.
Martin, tell me, what's the Leinster Council's involvement with this day today?
Well, Leinster Council are twinned, not only with Europe, but they're also twinned with Australia and Asia. And our part is that we're here to help facilitate. There are new clubs springing up throughout the length and breadth of Europe. Obviously, large numbers of Irish people are leaving our shores at this moment in time. And the GAA, there are GAA organisations, being created in several different places throughout the length and breadth of Europe.
And I suppose the difficulty for a lot of these clubs, Willie touched on it there, is financially can be difficult for them because I suppose they've no recognition or no identity really out there from native government. So, are the GAA helping financially as well?
Well, obviously there is a grant, but we would not be able to sustain any unit of our association. We have a responsibility, we'll say, in Leinster to 550 clubs throughout the length and breadth of Leinster, and we would see the clubs throughout Europe as another wing of our responsibility as well. So, as regards guidance, administration, coaching, referees, all of that area. There's a lot of areas into setting up a club. It's not just maybe 7 or 8 guys coming together or girls to form a team. If you want to form a club, and a lot of the clubs in Europe are really serious on putting structures in place, and not only putting structures in place for this current generation. A lot of our Irish people are getting married out there, and there will be second generation and third generation, and it's a wonderful opportunity for the Gaelic Athletic Association to expand and maybe create an international dimension that hasn't been there in the past.
And finally, have you been taken by the standard of the overall standard of play here today?
Well, I was out in Asia 3 weeks ago at the games in Seoul, and that was a magnificent occasion. But I'm just absolutely gobsmacked by the sheer commitment, the vibrancy of each and every one of the teams, the volunteerism that every club is. Everyone is here at their own cost, their own expense, and I'd have to say that the standard is extremely high, and it will do justice to any of the better teams that we have at home in our own province of Leinster. They're really working hard at the game. The games are very high quality, very exciting, and as you can see yourself, they're going to be fought out to the very end. It's just the very same. Competition is there. It's invigorating. It's exciting, and a very high quality. I'm very proud.